Y'all, this is the news no one saw coming. Yandy Smith, the queen of hustle, the definition of strength, is now fighting for her life in the ICU. But here's where things take a bizarre turn. Despite doctors claiming she was in critical condition, suddenly, out of nowhere, they're saying she's doing better. Something is not adding up. Fans are in shock, close friends are demanding answers, and the entire love and hip-hop community is buzzing with whispers of a cover-up. Could it be that someone doesn't want the truth to come out? Is there a bigger scandal lurking behind those hospital doors? And most importantly, what are the doctors hiding? Y'all, this is serious. Reports are flooding in that Yandy Smith has been rushed to the ICU under mysterious circumstances, and something just isn't adding up. At first, the doctors said she was in critical condition, and now, out of nowhere, they're saying she's getting better without giving any real explanation. What are they hiding? Fans are demanding answers because the way this situation is unfolding is highly suspicious. One moment, Yandy is out enjoying the night, and the next, she's barely conscious, rushed into intensive care. And to make things even more shocking, certain people have shown up at the hospital. People who have no business being there. What's really going on? It all started just a few hours before the chaos. Yandy was attending a high-profile industry event in Atlanta, surrounded by celebrities, influencers, and executives. Witnesses say she was in high spirits, laughing, taking pictures, networking. Everything seemed completely normal. But then, something changed. Around 1:30 a.m., Yandy was seen acting differently. The energy around her shifted. She wasn't as talkative, she looked a little distant, distracted. A few people noticed she was holding onto her stomach, like she wasn't feeling well. Then, out of nowhere, she collapsed. Screams echoed through the venue. Drinks spilled. People rushed forward, shouting for help. Call 911. Call 911. Security immediately pushed people back, trying to clear the space around her. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and were seen working on her right there on the floor. By the time they got her into the ambulance, she was barely conscious. As soon as the news hit the internet, social media exploded. People were in shock. No way. Yandy was just fine earlier. What happened? Somebody better start talking, cause this don't make sense. Praying for Yandy, but why is no one saying what's wrong? Celebrities started posting cryptic messages, dropping prayer emojis, but no one was actually giving details. And that's when things got suspicious. Why was nobody explaining what really happened? What was being covered up? By 3 a.m., Yandy was officially moved into the ICU. And that's when Mendeecees Harris got the call. The second he heard the news, he dropped everything. He rushed to the hospital like a man possessed. When he got there, he looked terrified. Where is she? What's happening? Somebody TLK to me. Hospital staff tried to calm him down, but they weren't giving him real answers. Sir, the doctors are doing everything they can. Please have a seat. Have a seat. His wife is fighting for her life, and that's all they had to say. And the weirdness didn't stop there. Slowly, more people started arriving at the hospital. But not just Yandy's closest friends and family. Certain people who hadn't been in her life for years. First, Kimbella showed up. Now, this wasn't exactly shocking. Yandy and Kimbella have had their ups and downs, but they've been close for years. It made sense that she'd be there. But then, Erica Mena walked in. Erica? Mena? Why was she there? Everyone knows Yandy and Erica have never been on the best of terms. So the fact that Erica, of all people, was suddenly showing up in the middle of the night, that raised a lot of eyebrows. And it didn't stop there. A few industry insiders, people who hadn't been seen with Yandy in years, were also arriving. What was going on? Outside the hospital, reporters were gathering. Fans were showing up. Paparazzi cameras were flashing nonstop. Then, at exactly 4:17 a.m., something even stranger happened. A doctor walked out, whispered something to Mendeecees, and his entire face changed. 1 minute, he was panicked. The next, he looked furious. He stormed out of the hospital, phone in hand, yelling, "What do you mean? That doesn't make sense. How is that even possible?" Cameras caught him pacing back and forth, arguing with whoever was on the other end of that call. When he finally hung up, his expression was completely shook. What did they tell him? Who was on that call? And then, just when you thought things couldn't get any crazier, the hospital increased security. They blocked off hallways. Nurses and doctors stopped answering questions. Why? If Yandy was really doing better, like they claimed, then why was everyone acting so secretive? Something wasn't right. And as more details started to surface, it became clear this situation was way bigger than anyone realized. It had already been hours since Yandy was rushed to the ICU, and yet nobody was giving a straight answer about what had actually happened. The hospital staff kept things vague, saying she was stable but under observation. But what did that even mean? If she was truly okay, then why were doctors whispering in the hallways? Why was security tightened all of a sudden? And then Mendices vanished. One moment, he was outside arguing on the phone, pacing back and forth, looking furious. The next, he was gone. Where did he go? Why wasn't he by Yandy's side? And that's when the rumors started. Word began spreading that this wasn't just some random medical emergency. Some sources claimed Yandy had been poisoned. Others whispered that this was something much darker, something personal. Because here's the thing, too many people were showing up. At first, it was just family and close friends. But then, more and more unexpected faces started appearing. By 5 a.m., Rich Dawes arrived. Yes, you heard that right. Rich Dawes. This man hadn't been in Yandy's circle for years, and suddenly, he was showing up in the middle of the night like he had some urgent business at the hospital. And he wasn't alone. Behind him, Chrissy Lampkin. Now, hold up. CHRISSY? The same Chrissy who went toe-to-toe with Yandy in some of the biggest, most explosive fights in love and hip-hop history. The same woman who once said she would never be in the same room as Yandy again. Why was she here? The tension in that waiting room was thick. Kimbella was sitting off to the side, clearly nervous. Erica Mina was pacing, checking her phone, looking irritated. And when Rich and Chrissy walked in, oh, you could cut the energy with a knife. For a long moment, nobody said anything. Just long, cold stares, like they were mentally preparing for battle. Then, out of nowhere, Erica snapped. What the hell are y'all doing here? Rich stepped forward, calm but serious. Same reason you are. I need answers. But Erica wasn't buying it. Nah, you don't get to play concerned now. Where were you BFO'ry all this happened? You've been ghost for years. That's when Chrissy jumped in. We all want answers, Erica. But screaming ain't gonna bring him any faster. So how about you chill? Kimbella tried to defuse the situation, but it was too late. Erica was already heated. You of all people want to talk about being chill. Please, if Yandy knew you were here, she'd laugh in your face. Chrissy rolled her eyes, but before she could fire back, the elevator doors opened. And guess who walked out? Mendices. But he didn't look like himself. His face was pale, his eyes were red. He looked like he had just seen a ghost. The whole room went silent. Rich stepped forward. Yo, what's going on? What did they tell you? Mendices swallowed hard, like he didn't even know how to put it into words. Then, finally, he spoke. They're lying to us. The entire room tensed up. Kimbella's eyes widened. Wait, what? Who's lying? About what? Mendices rubbed a hand over his face, looking exhausted, frustrated, and straight up furious. The doctors, the hospital, they're not telling us the full truth. Now, at this point, everyone was on edge. Erica crossed her arms. Okay, well, what did they tell you? 'Cause last we heard, she was stable. Mendices let out a bitter laugh. Asterisk, yeah, stable. That's what they want us to think. But they just moved her to another floor without telling me. Silence. Then, chaos. Kimbella stood up. Wait, what? They moved her? Without telling you? Mendices nodded. Yeah, and when I asked why, they said it was a precaution. But when I asked what that meant, they dodged the question. Chrissy, despite everything, looked genuinely concerned. That don't make sense. Why would they move her and not say why? That's when Rich spoke up, because they're covering something up. The whole room went cold. Now, let's be real. Rich ain't exactly the most trustworthy person in the world. But the way he said it, like he knew something nobody else did, that had everyone on edge. Mendices turned to him. What do you know, man? Just say it. Rich hesitated. He glanced around the room like he was debating whether or not he should even say it. And then he did. This ain't no accident. Everyone froze. Kimbella's mouth dropped open. What are you talking about? Rich leaned in, lowering his voice like he didn't want certain people to overhear. Yandy didn't just pass out. She was fine all night, right? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, she collapses. Nah, that don't sit right with me. Mendices shook his head. You think someone did this to her? That don't make sense, man. Who would? Rich cut him off. The real question is who had something to gain. And that was when the real paranoia kicked in. Because if this wasn't just a medical emergency, then somebody in that room knew more than they were saying. And y'all, what happens next? It will shock you. Because the truth? Oh, it's about to come out, and it's uglier than anyone imagined. The air in the waiting room was so thick with tension that it felt like a bomb was about to go off. Mendices stared at Rich, his fists clenched. What the hell are you trying to say, man? Just spit it out. Rich took a deep breath, locking eyes with Mendices. I'm saying somebody wanted Yandy out of the way. And I got a damn good idea who. The whole room froze. Erica was the first to snap. Oh, hell no. You're not about to sit here and act like you some detective. You ain't been around in years, and now you got theories. But Rich wasn't backing down. I don't need to be around to see what's right in front of my face. Yandy's been making moves, big moves, and y'all think everybody's happy about that. Think again. Kimbella swallowed hard. You're saying this was planned? Like somebody actually tried to? Rich nodded. And that's when Mendices lost it. Who? Say it. Who would do this to her? Rich held up his hands. I don't have proof. Mendices grabbed him by the collar. I don't give a damn about proof. Who did this? And y'all, that's when the real bombshell dropped. Rich took a deep breath, his face deadly serious. Then, finally, he spoke. Judy. Dead silence. Mendices blinked. My mother? You're out of your damn mind. But Rich didn't waver. Ain't no way she didn't know so anything. She's been talking crazy about Yandy for months, and now, all of a sudden, Yandy's in the ICU under mysterious circumstances. You do the math. Mendices shoved Rich back. Shut the hell up, man. That's my mother. She might not always like Yandy, but she'd never, wouldn't she? Chrissy cut in, arms crossed. 'Cause last time I checked, she was running her mouth about how Yandy was ruining you. How Yandy was taking her baby boy away. That woman sees Yandy as a 3/8. And you know what people do to threats? They eliminate him. Mendices was shaking his head, but now he looked conflicted. Because deep down, he knew his mother had never fully accepted Yandy. She had always been bitter, always throwing shade, stirring up drama. But would she really go that far? And then, like clockwork, Mendices' phone rang. He pulled it out, and when he saw the name on the screen, his stomach dropped. It was Judy. Everyone watched as he hesitated, his thumb hovering over the answer button. He glanced at the group, their eyes filled with suspicion, doubt, and fear. Then, slowly, he answered. Ma. Her voice came through the line, shaky and low. Mendices, baby, we need to talk. The whole room went silent. He gripped the phone tighter. Talk about what? Judy took a deep breath. I didn't mean for this to happen. Everyone's blood ran cold. Mendices' jaw tightened. Didn't mean for what to happen, meh. What did you do? And that's when she broke down. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I just wanted her to slow down, to stop making you choose between me and her. I never meant for her to get hurt. I swear on my life, baby, I never wanted this. Mendices felt like the room was spinning. Mag, what did you do? Judy was sobbing now. I had somebody put something in her drink, just to make her weak. Just to make her stop for a while. But I swear, baby, I didn't know it would go this far. I didn't know it would send her to the hospital. Mendices staggered back, like he'd been punched in the gut, and the whole room exploded. Erica's jaw dropped. Oh, my God. Kimbella's hands flew to her mouth. No. No way. Chrissy shook her head. I knew that woman was shady, but this is insane. Mendices felt like he couldn't breathe. May, do you even hear yourself right now? You GGD my wifey. Judy was sobbing. I didn't mean. Mendices hung up without another word. And just like that, it was war. He turned to the group, his eyes blazing. I swear on everything, she's gonna pay for this. Rich crossed his arms. So what's the move? 'Cause this ain't just family drama no more. This is Skrima now. Mendices nodded. She's gonna face charges. I don't care if she's my mother. What she did, that's attempted murder. And that's when a doctor finally walked in. The entire room turned to him, holding their breath. The doctor cleared his throat, looking hesitant. Mr. Harris, we need to talk about Yandy's condition. Mendices stepped forward. Is she awake? Is she okay? The doctor sighed. She's stable, but there are complications. Mendices' stomach twisted. What do you mean, complications? The doctor looked around, then back at Mendices. Let's talk in private. And that's when everyone knew. Whatever he was about to say, it was bad. And y'all, the truth? It's about to change everything.